Welcome in, everybody. Between the Ears, best bets. Yes, we continue to do this show even though we suck at this. So thank you for hanging around and tuning in each and every week. We have fun with it. So, anyways, let's see what we did last week. Chris, wasn't a hot week for me, and I felt like it wasn't going to be, but 1-4 for your boy. I got NC State right, so I started the week off great. I believe it was a Thursday or Friday night game, and they covered the plus 3.5 spread. LSU minus 2.5, loser. South Carolina, loser. Kansas, loser. WTCU under 52.5, and actually that was a winner. So I was 2-3. I miscounted earlier in the week, so I was 2-3. That's still not bad. Better than 1-4. You, on the other hand, you get BYU and Ole Miss correct. Syracuse, Iowa State, and Notre Dame not so much. So let's get right into this week's picks. I'll be honest, these things are getting tighter and tighter every week, and it took me probably close to 35, 40 minutes to find 5 picks, and usually it doesn't take me but half that. So I'll start in the Big 12. I'll go Kansas money line. I think they're actually like +2 against Central Florida at home, but I just feel like this is a double-edged sword, really. UCF just had a 28, 27-point lead on Baylor last week and blew it in their Big 12 home opener. Kansas, it was a tough game against Texas, but you can't really fault them for that. So I think actually the wrong team is favored in this one. So give me Rock Chalk Jayhawk to win this game outright.
I'm actually rolling with you on this. I took the points at 1.5. Might
Okay.
as well. So, yep, Kansas. Something seems off with that bet, but I don't know. Since Central Florida last week, last second, why that? I would think Kansas at least by 3 points would be favored. So
Yeah.
I always get a little iffy, just like the BYU one. I was iffy, but it turned out obviously a big win. So I'm gonna ride with it. I'm gonna take Kansas as well.
Yeah, and if you're hearing squeaks in the background and people yelling, Chris is at Mountaineer Madness right now. So we are getting live coverage for you with that as well. But I'll go with Colorado minus 3.5, and they're playing Arizona State. I mean, I don't understand how this is not closer to 5 or 6. I mean, even though it's on the road, Arizona State can't score. And I know Colorado's defense is awful, but I think way too many people are putting in too much stock into how Colorado's played recently. But I'm going with Colorado. I think this is an easy cover.
I didn't look at that one. When you say easy, it always makes me nervous. Florida State, huge favorites in this one over Virginia Tech. It's at Florida State, 23.5. Virginia Tech just lost to Marshall recently. I'm definitely taking Florida State. They could be favored by 30 in this one, and I would take it.
Louisville, Notre Dame. Notre Dame can't score all of a sudden after Sam Hartman was on track to win the Heisman after week 3 or 4 or whatever, just kind of like Geno Smith was. And then they hit the buzz saw in Ohio State. And then last week against Duke, they really didn't light it up either. And then you go to Louisville, they only scored 13 points on the road at NC State. NC State's a good defense. Notre Dame's a good defense. I love the under here at 52 or 53.5. I don't want to short myself a point. 53.5 under Louisville, Notre Dame.
I like heavy favorite this week in Georgia minus 14.5 over Kentucky. Seems like a lot considering Kentucky did last week. I'm taking Georgia. Georgia rights their ship, starts to look
Okay.
like the national contender that they obviously are. A little slow to start, but this is where separation. Some of these teams like Florida State and Georgia and another team coming up start to separate themselves from the pack.
I'm going to go to a game that probably nobody even cares about, but I think I like this spot. It's a little tricky because of where it's at, but I'm going to Wyoming +6 at home against Fresno State. Fresno State is 6. They're somehow in the top 25, even though their opponent's record is a combined like 6-19. Fresno can sling the ball around. But Laramie's a tough place to play because nobody wants to play there. Texas Tech knows a thing or two about that. Wyoming, kind of similar to how West Virginia likes to play. They don't really throw the ball that much. They average like 142 yards through the air, 182 on the ground. Feel like this is one of those games where Fresno, if they get out of their rhythm and they play to the style of Wyoming, may not go their way. So I want to go with the Cowboys plus the 6.
Yeah, that's a sneaky good pick. Oregon State's on the road at California, 7.5 point favorite. Cal hasn't fared that well. Oregon State's ready to prove to everybody they're one of the top teams in the country, so they can have a good landing spot. Maybe perhaps the Big 12. We'll wait and see what happens there. But Oregon State 7.5, taking that all day. That's a Pac-12 after dark game too at 10.
Yeah, yeah, it is. There's not very much more of those. So soak them up while you can. Pretty soon it'll be Big 12 after dark or Big
Yeah.
10 after dark, I
We've
guess.
already kind of had them. So.
Yeah, exactly. So my final pick, I'm going back to the Big 12 pool, and I'm going with the Baylor Bears plus. Well, actually, no, I'm not going plus 1.5. I'm going to take them on the money line plus 102. Plus money am I as well. I think that they can win this game. Again, when you win a game the way they did last week at UCF, that can be a confidence builder. And you come back home, everyone just thinks maybe last week is a fluke or maybe UCF just kind of handed that game to them. No, they fought their way back. They were against the ropes. They were going to be 1-4, Chris, if they had lost that game. They were down by 21, 28 points, and they could have just gave up. To show that fight on the road, that shows me there's something there. I don't know if it's going to amount to much, but I think they come back home, they get another win against Texas Tech, who has not been good on the road.
Another Pac-12 after dark. My final one: USC favorite 21.5 over Arizona at home. That's an easy one. Arizona's terrible. I know USC's defense hasn't been great, but I'll take the Trojans at home. A little over 3 touchdowns there.
So again, if you're not used to this show yet, just disregard everything we just said, or play exactly the opposite, and you'll find yourselves coming out with a lot of cash this weekend. So, anyways, that was fun. I guess we'll see how we fare here in the coming days. Again, there's no game this week for West Virginia. Obviously, we didn't have a walkthrough game day show. We decided, we're going to wait a few days since we're going to be taping one early in the week next week. So our schedule for next week, we're going to have the walkthrough game day show on Tuesday. How to beat Houston will probably go up on Monday. We'll see how that works out, and then obviously the post game show Thursday night, and then the morning after Houston on Friday. So short week, but we've got you covered. Game week coverage will be starting tomorrow. So if you're looking for articles to read about West Virginia, Houston,
did you have me at 2-3 last week or 3-2?
I had you at 2-3. Is that wrong?
Yeah, it's 3-2 there, sir.
Who'd you get right?
Don't fade my bets. BYU, Mississippi, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame covered 5.5.
Oh, you know what that was? Okay, so I'm confused. I thought you said last week. You didn't say on the show, so I didn't know. I thought you just said Notre Dame minus 5.5. I didn't know you played the money line.
No, they covered minus 5.5.
Oh, did they? Did they?
Yes.
There's no way. Huh? Okay. What do you know? See, I didn't even pay attention, to be honest with you. I was so involved.
Over the last 2 weeks, I'm 7-3. So maybe not fade my bets. Sorry to interrupt your plugs there, but I had to make sure we corrected that one. Yeah.
What a kick in the pants. Maybe we'll edit that out, but no, I'm just kidding. We'll leave that in there. So Chris is on a bit of a heater. Apparently, I'm still stuck in the mud trying to figure out what side's the right way. So, anyways, follow us on X at Mountaineers Now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mountaineers Now. Give us a like, comment, do whatever you want. Tell us how bad we are at this. We'll probably agree. And we'll be back on Monday for how WVU beats Houston. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the bye week with no stress. And we'll see you back here on Monday. Take care.